because the cringe is just too much. This is the worst idea I've ever had. Oh, because you were 14. Can't believe I wrote something that required chapter titles. Hey guys, I'm Kate. Welcome back to my channel. And for Throwback Thursday, I have decided to treat myself to some old Harry Potter fanfiction I wrote. First up, a couple disclaimers real quick. Now, this is not the only Harry Potter fanfiction I have written. It's just the only one that I could find. And this fanfiction is actually decades old. A decade. It's over a decade old. And Harry Potter fanfiction is actually what got me into writing in the first place. I didn't start writing original fiction. The first things I ever wrote were Harry Potter fanfiction. I remember, oh my gosh, what grade was this? 6th grade? I think it was 6th grade. But I did the thing where like you insert yourself into the story. It was 6th grade, you guys. Cut me some slack. But I'm gonna go back. Let me go ahead and search for my username. I actually don't know my login information, so we're just gonna read what's on the site. So excited, totally not nervous, okay. HarryPotterFanfiction.com. This was where I used to do it. I want to search, I think. Yes, okay, author. My name was Exploding Snap, I think. Find stories. Oh, there we go. Okay, the Marauders 5th year. Look at this. As you can see, I started this in 2007 and the last update was in 2009. 0905. What grade was I in then? Okay, this was the start of my senior year of high school, which means this was like freshman year right here. The end of freshman year, the start of senior year. Oh my gosh. But then I also wrote a one piece. Oh man. It was completed and I also wrote that one. Okay, this would have been the start of sophomore year or maybe just before sophomore year. Oh my gosh. I think you'll notice that both of these are Marauders era. I have and always will be a Marauders fan. I think I enjoy writing fan fiction where the world's set up and we know a little bit about the characters, but it's not the main characters of the story. There's still a lot of mystery. And I mean, the Marauders had the Marauders map. They were turning into animagus during school. There were so many exciting things. Oh, I'm so nervous about reading this. Which one should I start with? Should I start with the first one? I can't believe I wrote 52,000 words in this in the end. Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. This is, no. Why? Why did I think this was a good idea? It's fine. Let's go ahead and look at just the descriptions I had. So for my long one, define James Potter, a mischievous Quidditch player, Sirius Black, a runaway troublemaker, Remus Lupin, a kind werewolf, Frank Longbottom, an amusing guy. Did I run out of descriptions for people? An amusing guy? It's fine. Lily Evans, an uptight prefect, Alice Jones, a bubbly klutz, Ashley Burns, a hilarious partier. Ooh, okay, I made up the name Alice Jones. So, because it's Frank and Alice Longbottom. But Alice Jones, I don't know, was her last name revealed as Jones? I made a Jones. And then Ashley Burns, I remember, was like an original character. That's fine. Great. Oh, I kept defining things. Life, a game no one ever wins. That's sad. Love, an unbreakable bond so strong that very few people ever experience it. Teenagers, ... Enough said. Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. This was the worst idea I've ever had. The main relationship, James and Lily. Yes, my fave. Characters. Yep, my original characters. Oh, I didn't even bother defining Peter Pettigrew. I was like, screw that guy. Okay. Genre, humor, romance, action, adventure. We're clicking in. We're clicking in. It's happening. Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. Ooh. Chapter titles. Wow, okay, so I wrote 15 chapters in it. I'm gonna have to look through these chapter titles. I honestly don't even remember. I can't believe I wrote something that required chapter titles since I'm so bad with titling things now. Which is probably evidence from the fact that this was titled The Marauders, the 5th year. Very creative. Thank you. I know. What's just a sampling of these chapter titles? The beginning of a very long year. That's chapter 1. Solid. Of plots and plans. That's the second one. Of Quidditch quaffles and crushes. I mean, I was just going with it apparently. Oh, but the of thing does not remain. It's fine. A plan falls through. How to crush a slumber party. To be or not to be, that totally isn't the question. Unluckily, allowances, mission fulfilled. The end of an adventure and the beginning of a feeling. So one thing that hasn't gotten better is titling things. At least back then I tried. At least then I tried. All right, you know what we're gonna do next? Let's go ahead and look at some of the reviews. I'm just stalling because I don't want to actually read what I wrote, but that's okay. No, this will not end. Whoa, this was in 2016. I have not used this site in so long. Someone said, I do have to say there were a few oh, and people could rate the chapters based off of stars? Look at this. Oh my gosh, I feel so old now, but like, there was no star rating back when I was on here. My goodness. What? What? Okay, let's go. We're gonna go back to the very first comment I ever got on this story. Oh, this is a long ass comment on the first chapter. My very first. Oh my gosh, snap. Who am I? Who am I? There are so many great parts of this. Ashley and Alice arguing the marvelous prank. You know what? Shia going on my faves. I was very excited for this, I think. Oh, look at that old school smiley. Look at that. Do you know you have the best summary I've ever read? Do I? Thanks, dear. Oh my goodness. Thanks, Oodles. Who am I? Oh, you can tell when I stopped responding. So this is the last one I ever wrote a comment back to. And then just never logged in again. Should I just read it now? At this point, I feel like I just have to read it, right? And this was not the only fan fiction I wrote. This was not the only site I wrote on. I cannot believe. What is this? The beginning of a very long year. I'm so nervous. Oh, look at that. We start off immediately with some dialogue. Dialogue has clearly always been my favorite. You can tell because look at all of this dialogue. Oh my gosh, all the dialogue. Ha, I win. Now pay up, Alice Jones yelled. Aw, do I have to? Ashley whined. Yes, you'd make me. Alice said, nuh-uh, Ashley argued. Wow. Oh, this was before I followed the said only rule. Not exclusively, but mostly. Yelled, whined, said, argued, and then I go back, yes, huh, nuh-uh, yes, huh, nuh-uh, yes. Shut up, Lily Evans yelled at her two best friends. Must you two fight all the time? Is it impossible for you two to get along for 2 minutes? There's a lot of twos in there. I mean, you could be spending time enjoyably reading a book and relaxing. Lily finished as she proceeded to continue her book. Nuh-uh, Ashley whispered to Alice. And that they're not spiking the punch at the school dances and making sure that they don't turn your hair purple again, or that they're not up to their usual pranking. Although they really are quite funny, Lily. Alice tried to reason. Hysterical, Ashley agreed. Remember that time with the Slytherins and the go-go boots? Priceless. Lily peered over her book at her friends. Have you two had any candy? Oh my gosh. End me. Oh, I know that one, Alice said. Shall we? Ashley questioned. We shall, Alice answered. I feel like if I was gonna make an original character, I should have picked something different than another A name. Back to back to back, Lily exclaimed after she fell over a root of the humongous swamping willow. Where are they? What? Lily was getting off the Hogwarts Express, and then they yelled over the whomping willow. How many books had there been at this point? I don't think that's the landscape of Hogwarts, okay? What were you thinking? Oh, do I have a bio on here? Did we ever have to put bios? Do I have to say who I am? Oh, I had favorite stories? Oh my gosh. Favorite authors? Oh my gosh. And I had written 2 stories. Oh, so you don't have to, oh, you can see my real name. No. Wow, this is great. I'm still reading this first chapter. I feel like I've come a long way. That's really what this is reminding me of. It's just there are parts that are so bad, and it's like I couldn't figure out how to blend like description in with the dialogue or anything. The dialogue. Oh, so glad I'm doing this. Okay, I only have 14 more chapters to go. I feel like parts of this are actually very cute in a very young sort of a way. And now when I was writing this, I would have been about the age of the 5th year. Actually, I would have been a little bit younger, but it's cute. It's cute. It's adorable. It's kind of like, you know, it's one of those where I can see some gems, some hidden gems in it. Very hidden, potentially, completely. Gotta really mine for them. Gotta dig deep. But they're there. That's my point. They're there. That's what I'm saying. Oh my gosh, so as I'm reading this, I'm realizing that I like interjected names of my friends at the time, like not as full characters, just like passing when I needed a random name. I was like, this is such a great idea. And I still think that's super cute. So I feel like I graduated in some way from like the first stories I was doing. Oh man, but this is great. So glad I'm doing this. I appreciate that I started off the chapter with this kind of banter, and then at the very end it devolves to the same kind of thing. This is going to be a long year, and look! The title was the beginning of a very long year. Next chapter. Yay! This is the kind of cutesy thing that I do, like, even if you did hang around no good, overinflated ego, James, I'm the best gift to women, Potter. But then I continue the sentence, Lily couldn't fathom why such a good guy like Remus would hang around such an awful guy like Potter. I just said that and the rest of the paragraph, but we all gotta start somewhere. I'm kind of digging it myself, but it's just from reading stuff that's so old and from the very start, but I do appreciate some of what I've done here, you know. Big shrug. I think it's really cute, and I think some of it is actually pretty fun, and I feel like parts of it are way better than like what my age I would have thought, I guess. And I do think that there's something magical about writing fan fiction and kind of having people comment and feeling like you need to kind of stick to some sort of a schedule and getting chapters out in an orderly time. Obviously, I remember when I was reading fan fiction, I'd get to the end of one that was like 50 chapters long and then there'd be nothing left, which I guess is what I just did here. But we'll see how I feel when I get to the end of this. Do I feel like I've been left on a cliffhanger? I honestly don't remember where I left it. I think I just stopped updating it. I think that's what happened. Alright, I just finished chapter 2 and look what I found. It was good. Last chapter was better, sorry to say. That's okay, I like the feedback. That's hysterical. I kind of wish I could tap into like, oh my god, how old was I? Oh, that's crazy. I actually responded to that comment, but it was like 2 years after I'd written that chapter. At least 2 years. Alright, so as you can tell by my change of clothes, I stopped reading. I stopped reading my fanfiction that day. I actually have had to space out reading the fanfiction over like, I guess it's been the span of like a couple weeks because the cringe is just too much. But I do have some final thoughts as I finished up that story. Point number 1 is that even though I made fun of myself a lot, I actually wrote more in that Harry Potter fanfiction. I got like 52,000 words, more than I had written in like anything else for a long time after that too. Even during various NaNoWriMo stories, I felt like I was always kind of like putting 2 stories together because I could never make my stories long enough. This one I actually stuck with for 52,000 words, and that's pretty incredible. Thought number 2, as shown, the cringe was real, and you know what? As I read on, it got worse. There were more moments. I used the phrase liked me. And I wrote at one point, Lily silently laughed bitterly. That sentence is just a whole lot. Silently laughed bitterly. Silently, bitterly laughed. Silently, there were just so much in that one sentence. The third cringe is that just one that I thought I should share with you as the story went on, is that I had the characters help me introduce the chapter on an author's note at one point. It was just, it was something. It's adorable now. That's the problem with all of this. Even though it's like so cringy and awful, I'm like, you were so cute. Like you were adorable writing this. So anyways, and the fourth point of cringe is that there were just portions and like scenes or phrases that like I would never use now, and I'm reading them back and I'm like, oh my gosh, why? And I'm like, oh, because you were 14. I made a joke about kicking a cat. It was not good. It's that kind of thing. You know what I mean? There were several other ones where I was just like, oh, girl, no. But, you know, 14, you thought the character would say it, you put it in there. That's what I was dealing with. But the third general point I would like to make is that the things that I pride myself on now, like the interrelationships of the characters and the dialogue, are actually things that I saw being the strongest in this story too, so that's cool. You know, it definitely got better. And that would be the fourth point, is that the story actually got better as I went along. And now I wrote it over the span of like 2 years, I think. But I could tell such a difference between like the first chapter and the last couple of chapters, or like the first 4 chapters and the last couple of chapters. So to that end, the growth was there, and I actually had a couple times that I audibly snorted, like I laughed out loud at portions, and it's always nice when you can make yourself laugh, even if it was 14, 15-year-old me making me laugh. And then the fifth thing is more of a memory I have, but I know that my brothers used to get mad at me all the time because we had one shared computer, you know, the dark old days. We had one shared computer that was the family computer, and they would always complain that I was on it all the time. And guess what, suckers? I was writing Harry Potter fanfiction. I think for the cringe factor alone, I'm gonna go ahead and just leave it here. I thought about reading Through the Eyes of a Prat, but I think I'll leave this for a later date. Just to enjoy it fully. I do have a couple other things, like I have a poem I wrote when I was really young, and I'm like going through old notebooks. I'm so excited to just return to that on various Throwback Thursdays, but please do comment down below. Let me know if you've ever written fan fiction. Let me know when you read your old fiction over. Do you notice that what you think you're good at now, you were also kind of good at then? Like, do you notice your strengths and weaknesses are similar, or can you tell that you've made huge bounds in one particular thing, or like kind of across the board? I would love to know. Thank you guys so much for watching this cringe fest, and I will see y'all very soon with a new video. Bye. What just happened? I swear if I watched this back and I inhaled something. Yikes! But also it was cringy. Believe.